We're live, Ishadita.
Special broadcast by the print. Today we had the counting of the Karnataka Assembly elections, and by all accounts, the Congress party seems to have crossed the halfway mark, and according to the Election Commission results, is leading it around somewhere around 136 seats right now. We can say that this is probably the Congress's first big victory after the 2019 Lok Sabha polls. Of course, they didn't win that poll, but it's the first big victory after the 2018 set of elections. And right now in this live session, we'll be discussing what it means for the Congress party going forward in the next set of elections that are coming in, and also in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. So we have with us our political editor D.K. Singh and Sharan Puvarna, who is our correspondent from Karnataka, who is right now at the Congress office in Bangalore, if I'm not wrong, Sharan. So Sharan, first I'll go to you. Can you just tell us what is happening? Because I can hear a lot of crackers, I can see a lot of people. So just describe to us what is happening there.
Celebrations started here quite early, even before, early trends. But yeah, there's a big TV channel, big screen placed here giving out real-time numbers. So there's been celebrations here since the morning, and now crackers are going off because, people believe that, it's kind of settled that the Congress have made it past the halfway mark. We saw D.K. Shivkumar crying and thanking his supporters and the Congress party. So yeah, here everyone, young and old, everyone gathered here. Crackers have gone off. I'm sure they're all expecting the big leaders to slowly start coming in and addressing the masses here.
What we're discussing in this slide, which is what does the Congress party learn from the Karnataka election? Because in a lot of ways, the way the Congress has functioned in Karnataka is not how it functions in the rest of the country.
Let's go to leaders. It's a learning, fine, the way they made their strategy, how they control the poll narrative all through. So even when you had, central leaders going to Karnataka for their rallies, they would be given pointers, docket, fine, you have to read out from this. Don't deviate much from what matters to Karnataka as per their strategy. So yes, plans were in place, and we'll discuss that in more details at 4 o'clock, because hopefully we'll have Congress strategists in this with us. He'll tell us in detail about how they went about it. As I look at the election, I would say that BJP has not lost. The Congress has won. Simply because, if you look at the BJP's vote share, BJP has managed to retain 36%. So you may be dismissive about, Modi making no impact, and, well, maybe partly true, say, if you look at Bangalore, where he put his whole might into the campaign. But then, despite that huge anti-incumbency and, lack of cohesion in the state unit, BJP has virtually maintained its vote share. That's a big deal. And that's why I'm saying it's Congress's first win, as you said, after 2019 Lok Sabha. In fact, in 4.5 years, because the first major win was in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh in 2018 December. After that, Congress did win Himachal Pradesh, but Himachal Pradesh was BJP's loss, not the Congress's win. It was all because of anti-incumbency against Jairam Thakur government. And then you had all these rebels in the BJP, almost 24 of them. And this entire sense of the BJP being in disarray in Himachal, it was very clear. So it was not that the Congress ran a very positive agenda and Congress won because of that. It was because the BJP was nowhere there. Even here in Karnataka, you saw the BJP in fighting all that. A couple of top BJP leaders quit the party also. But still, there was a strategy in place. Anti-incumbency was there. But then Congress won because of its own strategy, the way they ran their campaign, the way they controlled the narrative, and the way they were able to, put up a very united face. That made the difference in Karnataka.
Sharan, what did if you could take us through the strategy of the Congress in Karnataka, like we were discussing in our earlier lives also, that the Congress's campaign was very, very hyper-local. It was led by the state leaders. And if you could tell us how over the last few years, in fact, since DK Shivkumar took over, how has their pressure on the BJP been a sustained one? Like where the Congress has actually acted like an opposition party.
Yeah, I mean, the Congress went ahead with a very welfare, based strategy, which seems to have struck a chord with most people because it's in line with their allegations against the BJP of price rise and gas cylinder, petrol, and everything. So the financial incentives that the BJP offered in its manifesto and their 5.5 programs, which Rahul and Priyanka announced. All of it sort of is to offset that particular price rise. So that has really struck a chord, and even with the people we've been speaking to on the ground here, say that that is one of the reasons that they said they actually could say no to the money that was being offered by various candidates, knowing well that they are going to get a sustained amount of money through the year. This includes the unemployed, this includes people looking for jobs, this includes women of the household. So all of that, and then of course DK Shivkumar has to be credited for bringing the party together. We've never seen the Congress actually put up a united face. And despite all, his own aspirations, he kept everything aside and he put the party first here. I mean, he brought all of the warring factions together. He took all the shots fired at him, and he's put the party together in a manner that can actually come together and is sort of reposed faith in the party to state that if the local leadership can get their act together, then they can take on the BJP, and Karnataka cannot be taken as a BJP bastion.
You have to give it to DK Shivkumar with all these questioning sessions, examinations by CBI, ED, income tax, all these raids. The other day he was in our office, he was saying, that his people around him, there have been 75 raids on him and people around him in the past few years. Any other leader would have just, cracked under that pressure. He went on. So that was a big positive for the Congress in Karnataka.
Yeah, DK, so the point Sharan just made about the Congress acting like a united house and the role of someone like a DK Shivkumar in kind of making sure that their personal ambitions are on the side and then bringing the warring factions together. In the next set of elections that's coming up, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, how important will that be, especially given what we are seeing now in Rajasthan, this whole thing of the Congress going in as a united house, how important is
that's what you're witnessing in Karnataka today. A similar thing is happening in Madhya Pradesh. So High Command is just not interfering. You have somebody like Digvijay saying, Kamalnath, they're all working together. So you don't really hear much about factionalism. Although the finesse or the way the Congress ran strategy in Karnataka may be different. But in Madhya Pradesh, the party is united and it is working on a plan. In Rajasthan, you don't see that. Again, the party is in disarray. Chhattisgarh, again, you see, Baghel government has been controlling the narrative there. So it's all about what is their takeaway from Karnataka is have a united face, keep it local, don't make it a fight between you and Narendra Modi. As long as it's not a fight between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, Congress can still think of, trumping the BJP strategy. And what will embolden them is, this is yet another reaffirmation of the fact that Modi magic does not necessarily work in the states. It's your state leadership, it's the issues you're raising in the states that will basically decide the results.
Before we speak some more to DK and Sharan, I'd just like to tell our viewers that please send in your questions. We'll be taking them live. We'll be taking them to DK and Sharan. Please send in while this is on. You can type it out in the chat box and we'll be taking it up in the broadcast. Sharan, if you could also tell us a little more about DK Shivkumar really coming in as the vocal face. Like we were just discussing this in office some time back, that the BJP's vote share, if you look at it, it's remained kind of stable. The Congress vote share has increased and the JDS vote share has decreased. So would you say the fact that DK Shivkumar with this election has emerged as a vocal face for the Congress party?
think so, yes, because when DK Shivkumar actually took out a yatra for the Mekeda to dam project. So that time we saw that he was very particular that the yatra begin and continue despite COVID restrictions in the old Mysuru region. Now here is where this is called the Vokaliga belt, and most of the Vokaligas are the decisive votes here. So yeah, I mean, he has emerged out of as just being, the Congress strongman and other monikers that he has, to being sort of a credible Vokaliga face of the Congress. We've also seen how he has, how he brought the party together. The victories in Old Mysuru region also indicate that there's a lot, a lot of backing for DK Shivkumar in these parts. Kumar Swami's son is not doing very well in Ramnagar, which is, in DK Shivkumar's backyard. So all this goes to say that, the Vokaligas are actually rallying behind DK Shivkumar. But until Mr. Deve Gowda is around, he will continue to be the biggest leader of the Vokaligas. But if there's a second place, then that is up for DK Shivkumar is definitely in the running for the second after H.T. Deve Gowda is the face of Vokaligas.
Right now, when Shivkumar spoke after he, when he addressed the media for the first time after the results became clear, he started crying. And he remembered this time when he was in Tihar jail and Sonia Gandhi had come down to meet him. And he says that was the time when he was told that he's going to be leading Karnataka. Mm-hmm. In terms of on whom the High Command places its bets, again, what is it about DK Shivkumar, and does the Congress need more such leaders to be groomed in other states as well?
See, Karnataka Congress has what the BJP has at the center. You have Narendra Modi as the popular face, you have Amit Shah as the chief strategist. The same thing worked in Karnataka also. You have Siddaramaiah as a very popular face and DK Shivkumar as chief strategist. And that worked for them. What lie in store for them in terms of their chief ministerial ambitions, we don't know. But somewhere I don't really think that, one of them will get the whole thing. Look, Siddaramaiah has already announced that it's his last election. Just going to be his last term in office. Whether he gets to, maybe the High Command will come up with a strategy. We have just spoken about this. It depends on the number of MLAs they enjoy the support of. And that will finally determine who the party will go for in terms of, installing him as the chief minister. That's one. High Command may have some choice, but I don't really see the High Command imposing it on them. But regardless of the MLAs, point is High Command may even think of some strategy. In Chhattisgarh, they had this plan of 50-50 kind of a tenure where you have T.S. Singh Dev. First, you have Baghela for 2.5 years, then T.S. Singh Dev for 2.5 years, which finally didn't work. But then Baghela is a comparatively younger leader. He's not in his 70s as Siddaramaiah is. Siddaramaiah has already announced his retirement after this election, after his stint, if he gets that thing in office. So those things will be factored in when the High Command takes a decision. So that's for their future. What I have to say about their strategy is, you have done this story. We had this long chat with DK Shivkumar. That what defines the two, the salient feature of the strategy of the two parties has been, BJP usually baits the Congress to play on its pitch. So they'll say something, some Congress leader will make some polarizing remark, BJP will pounce on it. That has been happening one election after another. This time again, Bajrang Dal thing happened and then BJP pounced on it. They were literally baiting that, okay, come and talk about this. But the Congress has stuck to its plan. Just, DK Shivkumar just went to temples, promised to construct a Hanuman temple, and that was it. They stuck to their original plan. And if you recall, when they had this Freedom March, what is it called? Tiranga March in August last year, to anticipate what the BJP is going to do. So what DK Shivkumar have done then, that you have thousands of people carrying Tiranga and walking in Bangalore. Some of them would throw the Tiranga down on the floor, on the road. And then there would be videos that look how Congress guys are trampling on our flag. So he deployed
the
Sevadal workers that if anybody drops the flag, you just pick it up immediately. It's like anticipating your adversaries strategy, what your adversary is going to do. So that was a very smart way of handling BJP. And that's how the BJP found it tough to actually, create holes in their strategy, in the Congress
Do you
strategy.
think this can be extrapolated to 2024 though?
Depends from 24, not really. Because we're just talking about, how Karnataka voters have been voting differently in the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. So it can't be. But another factor is, when you are the ruling party in 2013, for instance, Congress won. BJP in 2014, BJP plus put Yadurappa's vote, his party's vote. So together they could have got 30% if we put them that way. BJP gained about 13 percentage point more vote in 2014. Yet Congress managed to win 9 seats in 2014. In 2019, although Kumaraswamy, it was not a Congress-led government, Kumaraswamy was leading the government when the Lok Sabha poll happened. BJP got 25 out of 28. So when we say, of course, Karnataka voters vote differently, but when you are in power in the state, there are a few seats where, despite Modi's popularity, despite voters going for central leadership,
you can influence.
Yeah, you can influence on some seats. For instance, say Mandya, for instance, Sumalata has virtually joined the BJP. She has already extended support. She has not formally joined, but she could be the BJP's face there. And look at her unpopularity in Mandya. We were traveling there. Nobody liked her. The massive anti-incumbency against her. If BJP decides to field her in Mandya, there you being in power and that narrative, positive agenda you will be running in the next 1 year, that may come into play. So on some seats, you may basically make the difference, but largely in 2024, people will go for for Modi, in fact.
I'd like to remind our viewers again to please type in your questions in the chat box and send it across to us. We will be taking them in the course of this discussion. Another interesting thing about this Karnataka election specifically, this was Mallikarjun Kharge's first proper election after he was made Congress president. This is his state. He's been a 9-time MLA from the state. How do you see that equation working out, at least in the context of Karnataka? Because there were the Gandhis, then there was Kharge, and then there was the state leadership. And all three of them were balanced in a great way. Like there was not one overbearing on the other. So AICC was kept in the loop. AICC was working as it was supposed to work. The state unit was also giving its input. So it was not like one was overweighing the other, which is what happens in a lot of states with the Congress party. So how do you see this whole, Kharge coming into the equation and how it?
Kharge handled the entire thing very maturely. Everybody knows that Kharge and Siddaramaiah did not get along in the past. Yet Kharge, even while being the National Congress president, did not really interfere in the way the state unit was running the campaign. What we have seen, we have preliminary data though, that yes, his presence there, his being the national president, might have made some impact on the SC vote bank. Usually SC left vote for the BJP, but if you're looking at, probably Sharan will tell us better in Kalyan Karnataka, Hyderabad Karnataka region, Congress has done quite well. Even in Kittur Karnataka, the Lingayat belt, Congress has done pretty well. It was leading on 30-35 seats last I saw. And it's not just about Lingayat running away from the BJP. It's quite possible that Dalits, in fact, went with the Congress. Because if Lingayats had completely abandoned the BJP, BJP wouldn't be getting 36% votes. So Kharge had, to some extent, made his presence felt, and very positively, I would say.
Sharan, before we wrap up, if I could ask you 3 reasons why you think that the Congress could achieve this today, what would you say would be the top 3 reasons why the Congress got the number of seats that it's getting?
I think the first one is the way they put their campaign together. Most of the campaign is focused on local issues, and the state leaders were consulted. There were no issues that were para-dropped from, let's say, from Delhi. So it was a very state-led campaign, state leadership-led campaign. So they kept it in-house. Most of these issues were kept in-house. And the next, of course, they had to back up their allegations with how they're going to resolve these issues. Now, when they say price rise, they said, okay, then we will give you 2,000 rupees per, every woman household will get 2,000 rupees. Then they said, we will give you free electricity. So they sort of backed up their campaigns with the kind of incentives that they did give forward. And I think towards the end, it was also, DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah came to a point where they said that we will at least have a functioning relationship in order for us to take the campaign forward. Because all we heard of the Congress in the last 1.5, 2 years was how the both of them were vying for chief ministerial candidates. I mean, wanted to be chief ministerial candidates, and that this was what was going to dent the party, the infighting. So the both of them, I think, over there also came to some sort of consensus that all of this can be discussed once we've crossed the halfway mark. And until then, we shall have a functioning relationship. So multiple leaders within the Congress also tell us that they kept their differences aside. DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah put winning the elections as the priority and everything else for later. So I think some of these reasons have really worked for the Congress this time and
There's a question for you from one of our viewers, Sharan. They're asking about the Bangalore voting there. So our viewer is saying that despite the anger at the infrastructure issues in Bangalore, it hasn't completely translated into an anti-BJP vote. What is the reason for this phenomena in Bangalore?
I think Bangalore, for starters, you'll have to look at it that only 52% of the people actually came to vote. Now, out of this 52%, you'll have to see if there are studies done on this, you will see that more urban voters actually support the BJP. So in Bangalore, there's a lot of constituencies where the BJP has been holding on for a very long time. And despite all the infrastructure problems, the BJP is in power in the BBMP since 2010. But despite all the complaining, looks like that last bit of Modi's rally in Bangalore may have at least brought out more people to vote. And the people who did come out to vote, at least post lunch on May 10th, looks like were BJP supporters.
A question for you. Did Rahul Gandhi have any impact on this election? Can he take any credit?
He can take credit to the extent that his Bharat Jodo Yatra was able to bring the people out, mobilize the party workers. That's all. Probably it's one of the few elections, probably the first election, where Rahul Gandhi's campaign has not generated any controversy. Because in one election after another, we have seen this consistent trend. He would say something and the BJP would lap onto it, and that would actually hijack the entire campaign.
Do you think having Priyanka at the same, because in fact, Priyanka did more rallies in Karnataka than Rahul did. So do you think that was a good strategy so that it doesn't become a Rahul versus Modi?
Usually women voters in Lok Sabha elections, we've seen women voters have been voting for Modi. Also because of the welfare schemes the center has been running. But then at the state level, you see, when elections are for local issues, you do not have any woman face. I mean, in BJP, who is there? Shobha Karandlaje. Otherwise, no big woman face you have. There it helped that somebody like Priyanka goes out and, campaigns. And even you saw the BJP, except Smriti Irani, who made that strange remark that, I've seen Priyanka Gandhi offering namar on the road, in UP. I don't know what led her to say that. But BJP also stayed away from attacking her. Usually have seen this strategy. So somewhere they feel that she, as a woman leader who is known across and who has certain appeal, BJP doesn't really want to go after her. So her presence also, I'm sure, must have contributed a bit to the party's victory.
Another question, is this a wake-up call for the BJP to not bank on the Prime Minister and divisive politics? This is a question from one of our viewers.
Exactly, it is, because election after election, you are almost predictable. So DK Shivkumar or Siddaramaiah actually can make their plans knowing what you're going to do. It's coming election after election. So when you do not have any strategies in the Congress, when Congress goes for empty incumbency, okay, whenever the people want to vote out the BJP, we will be in power. If they go like that, BJP strategy works. But whenever the BJP has got some formidable opponent or adversary, or some strategies to the other side, you have seen how the Congress has been able to kind of, evade that. Even this time, all this talks about, what was this debate about sovereignty? This entire sovereignty law was concocted. Sonia Gandhi didn't say that. But it was like BJP baiting the Congress to come onto that plank. national security plank, nationalism, Hindutva. These are the things BJP has been kind of using as central planks in one election after another. So if you have some Congress strategist, somebody who can think it through, and you decided, okay, we are not going to fall into this trap, you are in trouble there. If you're not able to bait the Congress, you're in trouble because you're not running any positive agenda. How many times did you hear the Prime Minister talk about Bommai's contributions to Karnataka, or what he did, or what the state government has done? So by not talking about them, in fact, you help the Congress's narrative. And that's somewhere the BJP had to think about it, and especially in the South. Because if it is not working in Karnataka, where you have, which is one of your strongholds, and you're in South, you're only fort, from here you go to Telangana, it will not work. Telangana also BJP is following the same strategy. Now it's a warning signal from Karnataka. From here you go to Kerala. Kerala story is fine, but will it work for you? So this is becoming a bit jaded, and this entire strategy finally, that it's losing its appeal. I mean, the BJP needs to revisit it.
Okay. All right, Sharan, last question for you before. Okay. Are you saying something?
Yeah. I just wanted to add to that, with the BJP campaign, we saw nearly 50 national leaders that included chief ministers and others coming down. And each of them, was sent to different regions of the state, where each of them made headlines for very, very different reasons. There was no binding theme as such between all of these leaders. Everyone came, spoke what they had to, made headlines in a very, very different context, did not speak about Bommai, just kept, if they did speak about Modi and his achievements, their headlines was about some divisive issue, maybe Hindu-Muslim or something. So we've seen that happen. But whereas in the Congress, Rahul and Priyanka also told the line of the state leadership, where they went ahead with just speaking on local issues. So there was a theme, so to speak.
I was saying that even the Adani issue, which the Congress was talking about so much before the Karnataka election, even that was not mentioned on the campaign trail much.
No, in fact, Rahul Gandhi once, when in Karnataka, I think in Kolar, he did mention it. But after that, they came down completely to other issues, of the state leadership. So there was a theme, and every leader who came down kept hammering the same point. Whereas with the BJP, everyone came with, they made headlines for very, very different reasons. So I don't think the BJP normally works as a very cohesive unit. But this time around, I think it was the Congress that beat them to it.
Okay, Sharan, before we let you go, I've been pulling your leg since the morning, saying that you might have to stand outside resorts. Now that we know that's not happening, the next question I'm going to put you on the spot with is, if we know anything about who the next chief minister is going to be, do you have any inside information for us?
I wouldn't rule out standing outside resorts just yet, not because, MLAs, but MLAs will be kept. That depends on the threshold. If they go past the 120, 130 number and it's comfortable and the BJP can't do much, then perhaps, that the resort part may miss out. But I think now the intense negotiations will be with how the Congress takes this forward, who becomes the chief minister. In fact, some leaders inside were telling us that unless they come to an agreement, there cannot be an announcement of who the next chief minister will be. And of course, DK Shiv Kumar has, everyone has DK Shiv Kumar's name over here where we're speaking. Then of course, there's Siddaramaiah. There are a few other dark horses also. But I think it's a little too early for us to figure out who the chief minister will be. And I think now is when the High Command and others will get involved, see how many seats they've actually won, and then see how many, MLAs back these leaders. I think a few more days.
Sorry, you're saying something?
No.
No, I think they won't take much time in deciding the chief minister candidate, because Kharge has already called all these MLAs, whoever wishes to come to Bangalore. Probably the Congress will go for a CLP meeting as soon as possible and come to a decision.
No, but will either of them give up? Because both of them have equal stake in it. But who will give up or who will give in?
The more you allow it to fester, the more problematic it will become.
But yeah, like they said, they have to agree to everything before they give the chief minister status. They will have to come to a consensus on that. But I don't think the drama is over yet. But I guess, maybe a couple of days more.
think that's a problem the Congress would actually be okay to have, after everything. So thanks, Sharon, for joining us. And Sharon, of course, will be giving us all the updates on how the chief ministerial pattern plays out. Thank you, DK, for joining us on the show. And we will be back hopefully with one of
Around 4 o'clock,
around
yes.
4 o'clock, hopefully with one of Congress's chief strategists. Stay tuned for that. And of course, we will be analyzing the election results through the day at the print. Thanks for watching.